So you probably saw my YouTube thumbnail and you're wondering, why the hell would this guy take Islam to knock out Alexander Volkanovski, a guy that hasn't been finished since 2013, and Islam is mainly a submission or decision win guy, right? Doesn't have tons of knockouts. So let me clarify a few things. Number one, I absolutely think Alexander Volkanovski is a live dog in this fight. I am not here to tell you bet your mortgage on Islam to win this fight. Not at all here what I'm trying to say. But the reality is I am a value bettor. So let's go ahead and take a look at the odds of this fight and the specific outcomes. Right now, Volk is a plus 200 underdog, right? That means 33% implied probability of him pulling off the upset and winning this fight. And Islam is a minus 260 favorite. Me personally, I'm not a guy that's willing to lay minus 260 in juice against one of the greatest fighters of all time. So that right off the bat eliminates the money line for me. Maybe you can throw Islam in a parlay if you guys would like, but I'm not willing to take his money line on a straight bet here. So we look at Islam by decision, plus 180. The sportsbooks believe that is the most likely outcome of the fight, period, is Islam winning a 5-round decision. Islam by submission is the second most likely of him winning, plus 280. And last but not least, my pick and prediction, Islam by knockout, plus 550. You guys are going to tell me that there is more than a 2-to-1 chance of Islam winning by knockout versus submission. I don't believe that. That's where I see value in this fight, and it's for a number of different reasons, right? So we understand Volk is coming off of the surgery just earlier this year. He's not necessarily coming off the couch, but he's also not in a full training camp. He is coming in just under 2 weeks short notice here. So I do believe that all of these things I'm factoring in and why I would take a plus 550 bet on Islam to get a knockout. Secondly, you guys have to understand a knockout prop, there are so many ways that you can win based off of that. So let's dive into that. Again, Volk coming off the surgery, not wishing this on him or any fighter, but we've seen guys get injured in fights. Torn ACL, we saw Aspinall get hurt. We've seen Rafael Fiziev just happen to. We've seen guys hurt their shoulders, their ligaments. If that were to happen, God forbid, the Volk, the knockout bet would cash. Because on a sportsbook, when you're betting a fighter by KO, TKO, DQ, on an injury, it's considered a TKO. That's number one, how we could win. Number two, the short notice. If Volkanovski does gas late in the fight, a ground and pound is 100% live in this spot. Number three, I believe Islam's striking is massively underrated. I'm actually going to go out on a limb here and say that in the first fight, he had more success in the striking than in the grappling, right? You see those vicious body kicks, the head kicks are live, the ground and pounds live. He wasn't able to submit Volk, and Volk has never once been submitted. We saw Brian Ortega get as close as humanly possible and still couldn't get it done. So, again, going back to value, I'm not taking Islam by sub. I like Islam by knockout. It pays way more, and Volkanovski's been knocked out once in his career, never been submitted. Islam, we've seen against Bobby Green, he can get control and position on the ground, and if he doesn't find the sub, he will pound away and find that TKO, and I do think that's a possibility in this fight. Another option, if Volk somehow were to get DQ'd in the fight, the KO prop would win as well. Again, very unlikely, maybe back of the head shots, certain things that has happened in UFC and in MMA. Again, very, very unlikely, but it is a possibility. And the fact that Volk has never been submitted, we just touched on this, that just makes the KO prop much more likely. Now, if you guys are still with me, hear me out on this, because I'm going to consider sprinkling. So if you want to just be conservative, it's not conservative, but if you want to be somewhat conservative and you want to just tail me on the KO prop, you're going to get it at 5-to-1, maybe plus 550, depending on your sports book. I'm going to go slightly a different variation of that. I don't think Volk's going to get finished early, right? I think as the fight progresses, Islam does have a chance to wear him down and find a TKO. So Islam round 3 KO plus 2,900, Islam round 4 KO plus 3,300, Islam round 5 KO plus 4,300. I'm sprinkling on these. If any of these hit, we hit huge. 1/10 of a unit, 1/4 of a unit max on these. These are huge long shot props for a reason. We saw Islam was not able to get it done in the first fight, but in Abu Dhabi, a hyped up fan base around him, Volk on short notice, maybe gasses a little. I think these props are live, and I hope they hit. And if they do, I will see all of you guys at the cash counter. Please like and subscribe to the video, and I'll see you in the next one.